Motorcycles and stoplights, a video tutorial. Stoplights don't really seem to be a motorcyclist's best friend, more like an enemy. Stoplights weren't designed with motorcycles in mind, but rather larger cars and trucks. If you've ever sat at an empty intersection waiting for the light to turn green, you know how annoying it can be when the light never gets triggered. The light doesn't even know you're there. If you've ridden a motorcycle in the street, then you've likely found yourself in this situation. So what can you do about it? First, we'll look at what not to do. My first reaction when this happens to me is to get off my bike and go push the crosswalk button. This usually triggers the light change immediately. However, it is illegal. Don't do it. You're not allowed to leave your vehicle unattended at a stoplight. An impatient rider may resort to just running the light. In a recent poll of 40 motorcycle riders in Pullman, Washington, nearly 80% said they had run the red light in this situation. Don't do this either. It's obviously very illegal, and you don't have to resort to these illegal methods. Several states have recognized this issue and responded by writing what are commonly known as safe on red laws. These laws allow the rider to pass through a red light intersection if the traffic light is unresponsive. Washington's version is known as RCW 46.61.184. The law basically states that you have to wait one full cycle of the light before you can, with due care, proceed through the intersection. This makes it really difficult to execute this law. What is a full cycle? Sometimes a cycle never starts until the light is triggered. In the event you are unable to utilize this law, use the following tips to get the light to detect you. To use this first tip, it's important to understand how a traffic light works. The most commonly used detection device for a traffic signal is the inductive loop. This is basically a wire placed just beneath the surface of the road. It is triggered when a large metal object passes over it and disrupts its electromagnetic field. Cars and trucks have no problem triggering this device, but the small metal mass of a motorcycle can make it tricky. Workers have to make cuts in the road to install the loop, so there is always an obvious mark left behind. It usually looks like this, a big square in the middle of the lane. So what you need to do is locate the loop and position your motorcycle directly over it for the best chance of triggering it. If this doesn't work, you can try putting the kickstand down closer to the loop. In most cases, the right positioning will be enough to trigger the light. Another way to get stubborn lights to notice you is to buy one of these devices and attach them to your bike. They are made for the specific purpose of triggering the inductive loop detectors. They are basically just big magnets that increase your presence at stoplights. So what have we learned here? We know that Washington has a law which allows motorcyclists to run a red light, but due to the wording used, it is difficult to execute properly. We also know that most stoplights use an inductive loop to detect the presence of vehicles. They are most effective when the vehicle is positioned directly over it. Also, one can buy accessories for their bike, which are designed to enhance their vehicle presence with these detectors. So the next time you're stuck at a red light, remember these tips.